Good morning, Story Trading VIPs. We got a lot to cover. We do have two special guests today. We're going to have Chris Tuttle soon, speaking shortly about CTLP. And then we're going to have our Vegas hopefully join us at the end of the show. Okay, first, there we go. All right, now just checking the tech, make sure it's up right. But all right, QQQ SPY. Look, I am still bullish here for now until or unless the Fed pivots again. Again, in my view, last Wednesday was a qualitative pivot for me on top of, remember, story trading. I like my stack catalyst. So that was the sentiment, but you also had the technicals with the crossover, the 50-week moving average on SPY QQQ, and also a bullish cross here forming 2200 on the QQQ. And then you got the the SPY on the daily already had 2200 bullish cross. It looks like a golden cross too on the daily for SPY. So today at 12:40, however, Jerome Powell is speaking at the Economic Club of Washington, and all eyes are on whether he's going to be changing his sentiment because of that big jobs number last Friday. There was one of the Fed speakers yesterday said we may have to look at that jobs data and get more tighter with more rate increases possible. So let's see what Jerome Powell says at 12:40 to see if he kind of derails this rally or not. But for me, like I said, when we're above all these key moving averages, I'm still bullish, especially on a lot of, again, risk assets have great charts on individual charts. So that's the story in QSPY. Let's see, TLT, UUP. Let's see how that's doing. So people are thinking after that strong jobs data on Friday, this has moved up sharply because of that strong jobs data. So the market is thinking that the Fed's going to have to get tighter. So that's the current sentiment the last couple of days. So we'll see if Powell hints at that or not today at 12:40 p.m. All right, so let's now jump into some individual stocks. There's a lot going on, and then we'll get to Chris on CTLP. Wow, a lot going on. CANO Health. Man, I gave this to you guys Friday afternoon when it broke the 50 DMA. And I'm like, not only did it break the 50 DMA, but this is a good time to speculate about rumors. When you break a technical indicator like that, then the rumor mill starts going, or it could even be the vice versa. Because there are rumors, that's what caused it to break the 50 DMA on Friday. And then lo and behold, the next day, I said, look out for buyout rumors. The next day, we got CVS in talks to close and buy out Oak Street Health, OSH, a 35% premium here so far. So that sent CANO up sharply in speculation that, again, buyout talks can continue. Rumors for CANO, CANO. So this has worked out brilliantly. The first target here was this gap here at 166. It's way above that gap now. The next target to me, there might be some psychological resistance at 2. I don't really see a lot, though, on these bars at 2. There might be a little bit of 2, but really I'm looking at this gap next. The gap right here, high of day, is $2.53. So I'm calling it 250. So 250 is my next target on CANO. And I do expect at some point you're going to get a specific rumor about CANO, and that's going to send it, who knows, maybe even higher. But maybe that's even what's needed to get it to 250. So that's been a perfect play since Friday afternoon. Now, in addition, so we got the what other stocks can have sympathy moves besides CANO? Well, the first one that came to mind was Talk, because Talk had several previous rumors, and one was actually turned down, an offer they turned down last summer for like $3 or something like that. So that came to mind immediately, and this is already on the radar because the CEO at JP Morgan conference said we're inflecting to profitability with cash on hand. So that's very bullish. He said we'll talk more about that in the February conference call, February earnings release. They don't have a specific date on when that is. And then, bam, they hit us with another catalyst this morning. New research. Talkspace releases early findings that text therapy, highly effective for frontline healthcare workers at onset of COVID-19 pandemic. So you can take a look at this data about text therapy. Very interesting. And it immediately made me think about artificial intelligence and ChatGPT. Can you imagine if they put out a press release exploring ChatGPT for, enhancing text therapy, something like that? But even without that, we have now many stack catalysts, not a lot. I've been holding this for quite a while, and I think I'm going to be holding it right through earnings. but if it gets to some of these targets first, I may sell some. So as far as swing targets, I think I'd given you guys 90 cents right at the top of these two candles, 90 cents, and then all the way up here at $1.14 would be the two swing targets I have right now at the 200 DMA. But again, I think I may just be holding that through earnings. Bed Bath & Beyond, what a ride. Crazy. It looks like I can escape with a profit. This is always a gamble. But man, the swings and oh my gosh, I mean, this is enough to give someone a heart attack, whether you're long or short. Just unbelievable. I added a whole bunch of puts last week, and yesterday I was adding puts on the way up. I was able to add some right when the stock was right at $7. So hopefully by averaging down all those puts yesterday, I'll be in good shape today. So they're getting financing, it looks like. At least, I mean, it's the pricing has been announced. It's a very complicated deal, but this is just going to delay bankruptcy, but it'll delay it past this week. So, the puts, and if anyone has puts like the dollar price, $1.50 price target, something like that, $2, those might not be good for this week or next week. So I'm going to take advantage of this 42% drop, hopefully lock in a profit at the open, and I'll probably stay away for a while. This is just crazy price action, crazy manipulation too, by the way, by the fund, by the, who was it? It was HC Wainwright. I forgot who it was. Riley. I think it was Riley who was doing this offering, pumping up the stock. I'm sure shorting it, or the friends are shorting it. I don't know how these things work, but it's obviously a lot of manipulation leading into this offering yesterday. Just crazy, unbelievable. All right, off to some other news. Blink did an offering at $12. They announced it yesterday. Together with the announcement, they announced a revenue beat, a pretty significant revenue beat. So here we go. Showed expected fourth quarter revenue to be 21 million to 23 million. Average analysts were expecting 18 million. So that's up from 8 million a year ago. I don't know about earnings on this, but this was on our radar also because they did the naked short press release that they want to attack naked shorts. But even before that, I was on my radar because someone who's in touch with management said this company is turning around. Keep it on your radar, Ben. The fundamentals are improving. So now they went and did an offering at $12 a share. It looks like no warrants. That's an interesting one. I haven't done a lot of due diligence on this. I don't know that I'm going to jump on it. Maybe for a trade, maybe it got support here at the $12 offering price, especially because it looks like there were no warrants. So BLNK, a lot of action on that. LAC, man, we saw this early in the morning. I didn't jump on it. 25, it was like 25.80, I guess, right in the morning. So remember, GM did a deal with them, $650 million in financing, and it was contingent on, one of the contingencies was a court case regarding Thacker Pass. Now, I don't know the details of the court case, but we have a press release, receives favorable ruling on record of decision for Thacker Pass. And if you go through the whole thing, it looks like there's still some pieces left to this court case. It's not 100% closed, but it's a favorable ruling. And there's a lot of eyes on this now because of $650 million from GM, and it's gapping now above where the high was before the GM deal. So this actually shows you, and actually we said it on that day when this popped. I actually avoided LAC. I think I bought it pre-market and sold it like right at the open. I didn't want to keep it throughout the day because I'm like, guys, this deal is contingent on a court case. So I don't know how far this is going to go. And now looking at this price action, that validates that was the correct sentiment because it was capped there at 25.50 and now it's above it. So the market is saying, sighing a breath of relief here that court case is now favorable, heading in a favorable direction for LAC, and they're bidding it above the highs after the GM deal. So this one, I don't really have a great read on the fundamentals. It's in a zone here. Look at all these candles with a lot of congestion. Yes, it's over key moving averages, but a lot of congestion up here. I have a feeling it's just going to be very volatile rather than just like, running. But right now where it is at 26.50, to me, it looks like the next level is about 28 on this chart. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. Maybe buy the dip kind of scenario. It looks like there's a lot of eyes on this, and it looks like we have very strong support because we're gapping above the high when the GM deal is announced. So maybe this is something that may be good for picking up the dips on LAC. Now, AMLI, by the way, seems to be moving in sympathy. Unfortunately, I don't have a chart to show you. Remember, this is also a Nevada mine in near the same area as LAC. So that's interesting, and there could be some sentiment because of that impacting AMLI. Unfortunately, again, don't have a chart. Maybe we'll look at that throughout the day, pull an E-Trade chart or something. But this has dropped a nice amount, AMLI. So maybe getting interesting again. Remember, the big thing I'm waiting for is the uranium spinoff for AMLI, and that's maybe when I'll dive in. Tesla holding steady at 196. We're looking for Vegas. She just came in the backstage, so we'll talk to her shortly. But totally on board with that, with a 225 target right there if it does break $200. AGCO had incredible earnings this morning, but these ag companies have not been reacting the way you'd expect. Really good earnings. If you do the math on it, we're talking about like a 10 PE at these levels. And what's interesting is they guided 2023 to be higher sales and better margins. So even with that, the street is saying, we don't believe you, or this is just temporary agricultural profits, just temporary because of the Russia-Ukraine war. So we're not going to award you with a traditional, a higher PE. So this is very hard to play because the sentiment is just not in the favor of ag stocks, even though the fundamentals really, really cheap. But it's on my radar. And, if we get pullback or something in the middle of the day, who knows? Maybe I'll be looking at that. CETX, penny stock, still looking at this. Microfloat, AI angle. So got a small position, but man, does that look good in pre-market. If that breaks 12 or so, this could be off to the races. It did hit like 17, 18 the other day in the after hours. So I got a small position just holding CETX. GNS still holding a small position. They have the event, the YouTube live stream, February 15th. I think that you're going to see support in the stock, and I think dips are going to be buyable until that event on February 15th. SANW had a big press release this morning with Shell. Shell and SANW enter joint venture to develop and produce sustainable biofuel feedstocks. And I picked some up on the pullback at $1.64. I was just lucky that I saw it. Otherwise, I may have chased it at 180, 190, but I saw it on the pullback at 164 above the 20 DMA. This one's going to be interesting, I think, breaking above the 20 DMA. So that one is high on my watch list today. So with that, there are a few other stocks looking good, like ARG and DAIO, but let's bring on Chris Tuttle right now to talk about CTLP earnings for a few minutes, and then we'll get to Vegas. Chris, good morning. How you doing?
Hey, Ben. I'm doing very well. How about yourself?
Well, it's been a crazy week because I got hit hard with Clearfield, and the volatility of Bed Bath & Beyond just going crazy. But looks like I'll make money on that. But hopefully everything will turn out great. We have earnings on CTLP this afternoon. The stock has been on a tear over the last 3 to 4 months, especially after that big investor conference they were at. So give me your thoughts. What are you looking for on CTLP earnings this afternoon?
Well, as with any quarterly earnings, you always have to realize you don't know. But I think I'm expecting a positive report, and here's why. There's a big focus on their subscription business, seeing that inflect higher, and as people who follow it already know, they did announce a pretty big contract with a Pepsi bottler. A Pepsi vending machine distribution company. You're talking about 9,000 machines, a lot of different points of presence. So what I expect to hear from them is a commentary that builds on what they talked about at their investor day, which was really in December. That was the catalyst to getting the stock to really start to move higher. And I expect that we'll hear a continuation of that, and they'll have pretty good things to say about that contract and what they're seeing in the pipeline. In terms of the numbers, consensus numbers are not elevated at all. I don't think analysts have baked much expectation for any kind of inflection into the estimates. I'm looking at a consensus right now of 58.8, which is basically flat sequentially. I'd be shocked. And
also the EPS is negative 1 cent. I wonder, that's close enough to break even. Could they surprise and flip to profitability this quarter?
They have been profitable in the past, although not in the last, couple quarters. Yes, I think they'll be profitable in this quarter. Nice. Just because they're going to have some revenue upside. I would like to see the operating expense growth, maybe moderate a little bit. They've been investing in building dealing with the EMV transition and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, overall, I'm expecting a good report with some upside and positive commentary. I'll be able to update our model and estimates and all that, hopefully after the call. So, the stock has moved, but, I think when we originally talked about this, I mean, my kind of long-term view on this is a $10 stock. Nothing goes up in a straight line, but, I still, that this is a big position for me.
Awesome.
I think these guys are executing on all the right things. And so, I expect it to continue as we move forward.
Sounds good. We've been riding it up. I have a small position in my IRA, but we had big positions swinging it from target to target, riding up that 20 DMA, breaking the 200. It's been quite a ride, especially after that conference, which I saw. It was like a 3-hour event, and it was just so impressive, Chris. I really
they did a really good job with the Investor Day.
They did a great job with that, and that's what got me interested. So I'm imagining they'll do a great job tonight. Maybe I'll take a risk and do a little overweight position in earnings. We'll see what happens. Chris, people can follow you at what? SPACVest, IPO Candy? Where do you want to send them?
Yeah, we cover all the micro stuff out of IPO Candy. So Cantaloupe is where we publish our notes at IPO Candy. We'll have an update out there after we've worked through the numbers, and we'll have our highlights there.
Sounds great. Thank you so much, Chris, for joining us.
All right, Ben. Anytime.
Yep. Good morning, Vegas. How you doing?
Good, thanks. How are you?
I love stocks.
I love stocks. I love options.
Really do.
I love the market.
I know you love options. Options gives me a heart attack. I can't do options like you do. But in any case, tell me what's going on. A top 1 or 2 picks for the day.
You know what? I'm going to say, I'm definitely going to say one of my top picks today, obviously, is Tesla. Okay, so it looks nice this morning. And I'm going to say this that we really want to see that $200 break. So it has a good spot there. If it breaks 200, can see 205 today, 206. So keep a watch on that one.
Let me ask you something. Do you see are there any technical indicators you can lean on to predict if it will break 200? So rather than jumping into those call options at 200, maybe you can get them at 196.
Well, I would say, you could definitely take a position in Tesla. I mean, if it breaks over 197.56, that is a good spot. And then you anticipate that it's going to break 200, and then it could go to 205. So you could definitely take a starter on the contracts with time on it, like at least a monthly. Or, some people might do a weekly, but you have to watch size because we got Powell speaking today. So definitely could take a starter. Absolutely.
Awesome.
And then my other favorite one today is going to be Google. So I like Google here. If it breaks 103.29, move towards 105.64. And I'm watching Google as well this week. I mean, if it has a break over 106, let me see what I had, 106.25, I think it was, or 106.50. Then I'm seeing Google for a move to the upside. Let me just tell you where I see this, but I am looking at Google even for like a swing trade. So if Google breaks 106.25, which it could do, maybe tomorrow, Google has a nice move, potential of 115. So I'm happy to take a $10 profit on a stock. So definitely we'll watch Google today for a break over 103.29. Target today would be 105.64. Stop loss under 102.09. And we'll wait and see if it has that flow and price action. But we did have money flow on Google last week. So that's
and we also had top watch. That's great. We also had that catalyst yesterday that they are releasing a Chat GPT competitor. So that might be helping to drive it. All right. I have one side I just want to ask you about before we let you go. Is it's a micro cap. I know you like them sometimes. It's SANW. I don't know if you were here when I was talking about it, but they did a deal with Shell. So that's a huge company doing a deal with a $65 million micro cap. It's a joint venture to develop and produce sustainable biofuel feedstock. So it's popping right here above the 20 DMA. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, this company here, when is the earnings? Because I show here that it's coming tomorrow. So I'm not sure. Like I show here earnings February 8th. But listen, it is over the 8 and 21, which is where I like
February
to trade.
13th. By the way, it's February 13th.
So next week. So obviously, not too sure if you want to hold into earnings. But this has room. I mean, we did break 188, which kind of was my resistance. So I kind of could see this going towards 254 and 308. So this looks really nice. I mean, it's a great swing for the rest of the week. And then you could close it out on Friday just before earnings. I mean, so long it still holds 146. Looks good here at 180. It's currently trading at 187. So it looks really nice here for a swing trade. And target 254. Looks nice. I like it. I like it. I like it. I'll take it. I'll swing it.
All right, great. I love it. I love it when you take the ideas we have.
I'll take it. Yeah. As long as my stop loss 132 stop loss. Yeah, so I'll take some here, and we'll see how this one plays out. It'll be an interesting one to continue. And by the way, there was one. Oh, congrats on your short on BBBY. That was a great one.
Let's hope it works out because
you're gonna get the crown next week.
I hope. Well, we'll see because those put premiums are super high. So let's hope it works out when I try to close them today.
Yeah. You got the puts. Is that what you got? Puts?
I got a lot of puts. I got puts through coming out of my nose.
Which ones did you get on BBBY?
Well, yesterday I averaged up. Yesterday I was buying as it was spiking up. I got the $3.50 strikes for both this week and next week. So those will print, but I do have a bunch of like 250s, 2s, and even 150s expiring.
Oh yeah, those were nice. They closed around 43 cents. So that'll be nice to see what those print up for you. Yeah. Well, congrats on that one. That looks great, and you'll get the crown next week. I mean, it's down over 48%.
I hope so.
So that'll be great money for you. So hopefully that you can print. Definitely. Just print. Okay.
Print.
Awesome.
All right.
Awesome.
Was there?
All right.
I think you're all set. Was there something else?
Yeah, I just want to mention one last thing. Microsoft has an event today and they're going to be talking about the ChatGPT integration. So you might see some action in Microsoft. We saw it this morning gap up, but they are at an event today. So, if you see Microsoft or hear Microsoft, oh, why is Microsoft moving? That's because they have an event today with Bing ChatGPT expected according to The Verge.
That's exciting.
So that's happening today.
It.
So yeah,
I like
we'll
that
definitely see how that one plays out. Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Keep
love
a watch
your
on
picks.
that one.
Yep.
All right.
Microsoft, Tesla, Google.
I'm gonna give you a gem soon, so I'm just gonna do some due diligence on it. But yeah, let's let you know about that one. I think you're gonna love this one. It'll be a good one for story trading. All right.
Awesome.
Well, you guys have a great trading day.
You too. Take care.
Okay, bye for now.
Bye-bye.